How do you think it's going so far? We heard a lot of reports that the justices seem skeptical. What was your take of their reception of some of the facts in this case?
Well, they seemed very taken with the idea that the law, IEPA, does not provide for tariffs. That's an argument we've been making since April. They asked a lot of questions about how it could possibly be that Congress decided to give a blank check to the president to the tune of a $3 trillion tax increase that he could do on his own discretion based on the word regulate. That's basically their argument. They said that a natural reading of the word regulate, when paired with imports, suggests that the president has the power to impose a tariff, which, as we know, a tariff is a tax, and it's a tax American companies like ours pay on their own property, which they own, when they bring it into this country. And the Supreme Court was rightfully skeptical of that strange reading of the law.
All right. So, Rick, again, you're one of the plaintiffs in this case. There's also another parallel case that's also going on. I want to go back to this tariff thing and the IEPA. Are you just opposed to the president being allowed to impose tariffs? Or are you opposed to the impact that's having on your business? I've read about you. You have two businesses, one started by your mom, one started by your dad. You employ about 500 people. You recently built a multi-million-dollar facility. And this is all kind of, these tariffs are actually impacting you when you're kind of almost the model of what the president says he wants. He wants American workers working and more domestic production. So is it philosophical or is this business?
Well, actually, it's legal. I don't think there's a legal basis for them to charge us with this tax. I think 100% of your viewers are against paying 1 penny more in taxes than they have to, and I think this was illegal. I can tell you that, like, we've tried not to opine on how the president should do his job or offer him advice, but I will tell you that the impact on our business is completely understandable. We had an expense in 2024 for IEPA tariffs of $0, and we expect the cash outlay in 2025 to be nearly $14 million, and next year probably double that. And so, of course, we that has an impact on our business. We don't
Rick,
have the money for.
I think the bottom line here is, if you got an exemption, would you still continue with this case? Would you still be against it?
Me personally?
Yes.
I mean, I think it's unlawful. So I think everybody who paid it should get their money back.
All right, fair point. What's the plan going forward? We don't know how this is all going to work out. You mentioned that you see your tariff costs maybe even doubling next year, from $14 million, maybe even more next year. I mean, you don't really have that insight until this all plays out. What's the next step for you? Are you going to try to source everything here in the United States? Are you going to stay with your current model?
Well, I don't think that it's an option for us to make the product here in the U.S., or else we would be. And by option, I mean that it's economic and viable. And so we respond to the economic incentives. So I think what's going to happen in the meantime for companies like ours is we're going to continue to very carefully meter out our spending on inventory and keep a lid on our expenditures with the cash that we don't have anymore. So when this cloud lifts and we get our money back, it's going to be a shot in the arm. That money belongs to us, but we can put it to much better uses than giving it to the government. And that's what's going to be happening across this country in hundreds of thousands of businesses. They're going to get their money back, and they're going to start to spend it on building their business and creating jobs.